much farther and live fully aligned with purpose. I'm your host, Michael Hicks, life coach, speaker, and founder of Live to Thrive. Before we jump in and check out this handsome man that's on with me today, I want to talk to you a little bit about. I got something special that I just released, which is super monumental, and I want to bless everyone today that's listening. Is right now it's brand new. It's a transformational experience, and I call it "Chasing Without Becoming." A powerful journey designed to help you stop striving for success that drains you and start aligning with purpose that sustains you. This course normally sells for $1,000. However, for a limited time and just for my podcast listeners, you can grab it for $24. And it's my way of giving it back towards this gratitude season of November, a time to reset before the new year. And you can just check it in the notes, or you can go to any of my social media pages and check it in the bio. Can't sleep, got the aches and pains. You got to check out this CBD oil. It's Amish tested, it's proven formula. You've got the aches and pains. As many of you know, I promote this product. If you go to superfungummies.com, you can only get the CBD oil, which is Amish tested. Take about 9 to 10 drops, put it underneath your tongue before you go to bed at night. You sleep like a baby. And statistics show if we don't sleep well, we age not, our age doesn't go well. We have issues with heart attacks, etc. So check out that product. You can get 50% off at checkout by just simply going to superfungummies.com and get that CBD oil. It comes in 3 different sizes. And with those 3 different sizes, you get 50% off at checkout when you put the promo code New Heights. Woo, that was a lot. All right. So jumping in now, let's talk about identity, obedience, and the calling, because today's guest, I'm going off task already. I got my show notes right here, but I saw this gentleman on TikTok, and I think the Holy Spirit is talking to this man. He has got, I mean, super pumped to have him on today. And let me just give you the accolades that you definitely do deserve. Will C. Lewis is known as the architect of transformation. He is a 2-time best-selling author. I'm in the process of writing my book right now. I'm super excited to chat with you about that, maybe off the air. He's a business builder. He's a mentor to Christian entrepreneurs who are ready to turn their mission into million-dollar movements with the honor of God. I actually discovered Will on TikTok, and I remember scrolling one night and stopping, and I said to myself, I said, entrepreneurs who win aren't the ones with the best strategy. They're the ones who have the courage to build what God showed them. And there you have so many really good ones, but there are so many, and I would probably take the whole episode to talk about it. But that line really hit me, and it spoke directly to me, Will, in what we stand for with my brand and my agency, Live to Thrive, is alignment over anxiety, and then purpose over performance. So today we're unpacking what it means to build a life and a business rooted in identity and obedience and faith. Will, my brother, welcome to Framing New Heights, and it's an honor to have you on.
Michael, I am excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to connect with you and just, see what comes from this beautiful discussion tonight.
For sure, for sure. Tell everybody a little bit about, if you had the elevator speech, what would you tell my listeners? We're streaming in 7 different continents. So I'm coming up to year 3. So give them the elevator speech. Go.
Yeah, so my name is Will Clewis, and what I do is help you take the vision that God has placed in your heart and your soul and turn that into a movement that transforms the lives of the masses. Um, so that is the thing that I do better than anything. Like, what I believe is we all came into the world with a gift.
Yes.
And a purpose.
Yes.
And our mission, our job, our role is to discover what that gift is, discover our purpose, develop ourselves for it, and then go out into the world and share it. And when we do that, not only are we impactful, we're serving people.
Yes.
But we're also rewarded financially from the value, from the service that we provide. So God has given me the ability to see what people miss. All right, I can see things and connect the dots.
I love it.
Huh?
No, I said I love it, Will. I called you Will C. Lewis. Forgive me for that. So it's an interesting name. Will, say your last name again. Will
Clewis.
Clewis. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. You would think it would be Will C. Lewis, but I okay. Yes,
yeah,
Clewis. Hey, so let me ask you, what did that leap of faith look like in real time for you? Like, tell our listeners because I am a transformational coach, and so many people. And you said so many beautiful things in what you said, but so many people kind of walk around in life and stagger around in life with like no twinkle in their eye, with no ambition, with no purpose.
yeah.
Like, what is that? What is when you took that leap of faith in real time? Like, what did it look like? Was there fear? Was there excitement? Like, what were you wrestling with?
Yeah, great question. So, for me, I was wrestling with a myriad of things. It was fear, it was anxiety, it was frustration, it was depression. So, I'll take you back to the experience. During that time, I was a seventh grade history teacher,
Wow.
and I was supposed to be an NFL draft prospect, and that didn't happen. I didn't get drafted. I didn't have a backup plan, so I had to make adjustments quick because my wife was pregnant, and I had to provide. So I graduate college and I'm going into teaching. And I thought it would be something that I would enjoy. Like I'm coaching football, I'm still close to the game. My thought process was that I'm gonna make an impact in the kids' lives. But it ended up being a very dark experience for me. So um, like man, I was smoking weed. I was like in the deepest, darkest time of my life. And I vividly remember having panic attacks going to work. Like, have you ever had a panic attack before, Michael?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. I got yeah, yes, I had a near death experience. So you
Yeah.
talk to me though. Go on. This is a
Yeah.
good story. Yeah.
Yeah. So like every day I would go to work, I would have like this massive anxiety. And then it turned into anxiety attacks, panic attacks. And they would have to rush me to the emergency room because I thought I was gonna die. Right.
Wow. Wow.
And this happened for like a year. I had gained over 50 pounds. My marriage was rocky. I wasn't present at home. Like I just felt like I was failing, man. I had this vision of what I thought my life would look like. I grew up poor. I grew up in a broken home. So I'm like, going pro was going to give me the ability to make enough money to live,
Yeah,
to understand what that was like.
for sure.
But my current reality looked like the exact opposite. I was taking out payday loans to survive. Like it was a mess. And I made a decision that if I didn't do something, it was going to kill me.
Mm.
If I continued on the road that I was on, I was going to die. So one day I'm sitting in the back of my classroom and I gave my students a worksheet and I told them to leave me alone.
Wow.
And I sat in my chair just as I'm sitting in this chair and I said, God, what is my purpose?
Mm.
You showed me you had a vision for my life, but this is not it. What do you want me to do? Why am I here?
Yeah.
And I had tears in my eyes and I'm crying because I'm like, man, it was bad. And then God gave me this vision that literally blew my mind. And this vision was of this fitness center where people were running around, the music was loud. I was making an impact in their life, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Excuse me. And I knew this wasn't my vision because I never had the idea to create a fitness studio or a gym. Um, but when I saw it, I just felt like this overwhelming lightness that took over me. And it was at that point I knew that this vision was from God and this what I was supposed to do. So I took out a journal, I wrote that vision down, and I immediately began to take action on making that vision a reality. And that was the segue into me understanding purpose, understanding path, understanding our gift. And that's kind of what led me into where I am today.
It's interesting. You know, I'm close friends with a few. I had Pastor Turner on. He's runs a congregation, and I was talking a little bit about this. It's like it's almost like you got to hear the knock on the door to hear him. Like, how do you determine, Will, when he's telling you to do like, oh, God told me to be a millionaire. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, how do you differentiate? How do you use discernment in that particular situation? How did you know that was God telling you that?
Yeah, great question. So the way that I articulate this is that you know God's voice because it's different than your voice. All right. Like God can only speak in the truth. God cannot lie. All right. It's impossible for him to lie. So when he tells you something, it has to be true. How do we know what's true? Well, we look in the word. The scripture tells what's true. So one of those things is without vision we perish, right?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
the vision that I had, it wasn't of my own creation. I had never thought of that. So I'm like, okay, this is good. And when I saw it, it just felt right.
Mm.
So we all have like an internal compass where when you hear something, you can tell if it resonates or you can tell something is off about that. Right. Even before someone opens their mouth and says a word, we can always feel what's going on with other people if you're really, really in tune with it. So we
100%.
always know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's how I gauge God's voice is what I'm hearing the truth. How
Love it.
does this feel? What is this leading me to? Is this leading me to an outcome that is going to improve my life and improve the lives of others? And if it checks all those boxes, then I know the revelation that I'm getting is from God and it's not of myself.
So you went and did this fitness thing, this gym.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened after that, because you're doing great things now. Go a little bit more deeper on that. I want to hear more of that. I know our listeners do as well.
Yeah. So once I had the idea of the fitness center, I'm like, okay, how do I get started? And like I had poor credit at the time, like absolutely no money. I don't come from a family with any money at all. So I had to figure all of this stuff out. And what I did was I got obsessed with learning what I did not know. And for those of you that are listening to this video, here's what you have to understand. There are phases of transformation. The first phase is that you feel different. All right. So prior to the vision that God gave me, I was depressed. I was anxious. I was miserable. It was a dark place. When he gave me the vision, my feelings changed. Now I'm feeling inspired. Now I'm feeling great. And most people stop there. Okay, I feel different. Things change. Like, no, you can't stop there. All right. So the next phase you go to is now that you have the vision, what skills do I need in order to make this real? So you have to go out and acquire the skills you do not have. And that's what I did. I got obsessed with marketing. I got obsessed with sales. I got obsessed with learning how to create a business and run a business. And I tested it immediately. Like in my mind, just sitting on it was not an option. I saw the vision so clear and I knew how my life would change if I got there, that was all the motivation that I needed. So I'm taking action on it and I launched the business. All right. And here's how I launched it. This is funny. So, what I did was I sent an email out to every teacher, every employee in the school district that I work for. It was like over 5,000 people. And I'm like, hey, I'm doing this free workout outside at the park. Everybody come out. It's going to be a great vibe. And after that, they come knocking on my door. Boo, 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 boo. Hey, Will, you can't do that. All right. So I got in trouble for that. But nevertheless, they showed up to the workout. All right. Now, here's the thing. Again, I'm new to this, so I'm not really knowing what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I know. All right. So after the workout is done and everything goes well, I make them an offer to continue working out with me. And nobody took the offer. It was like $97 a month, and nobody took the offer. And this is another point where most people quit.
Yes.
But you got to understand the process, right? Like, before you get to where you want to go, there are going to be challenges and obstacles that you have to expect. It's not going to be easy. All right. You might hear no 8 out of the 10 times you ask people, but you have to be resilient and you have to understand the vision and the cost of not having the vision. And that's what I did. My mom was like, I don't care. I'm going to keep going. So I had my wife, my mom, my sister at the park, and a lady from church, and I just stayed committed to the vision. And what happened after that is I end up building one of the biggest fitness companies in Dallas Fort Worth.
Wow.
And it took me about a year and a half to do that. I was able to quit my job, do it full time, built that business to multiple locations. I had hundreds of clients, made a ton of money in that business. And then in 2020, when the shutdown happened and all that stuff with COVID, I sold the business and I went into doing the kind of work that I do now, the consulting and things like that.
Yeah. So you're in Dallas right now, then, huh?
Yeah,
Okay. Wisconsin. Yeah, because I know you asked me prior to going live. You're like, "Where are you from?"
yeah,
Wisconsin. So we're about to get hit with some cold weather here. Hey, wow, that's a it's a really excuse me, good story. I love that because all of what you said is because what I teach my clients is awareness creates access. You had the vision, right? It
yeah,
was there in front of you, and you acted on it. And then once you become aware of what God's calling you to do, you cannot unsee it, right?
right.
Right. And I think that's where you lived it. And that's such a beautiful a story. I want to segue here a little bit. Um, can you unpack for us, Will, what does it mean to build from identity first? And how does that change the way someone leads and serves? Because it's a
Yeah.
lot of what you do, and I want to really get into that. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Identity is the most important thing. All right. Because whoever you believe you are, everything that belongs to that label, you're going to experience. All right. So, in other words, most people walk around and they have no idea who they are.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely no idea. And some people do know who they are, and their version of who they are is I'm depressed. I'm not good enough. Right?
Mm,
Um, I'm an introvert. I'm this, and these are disempowering labels. So whoever we say we are, life is going to say, okay, here you go.
yes. Yes.
All
Yes.
right. And that is why I am so keen on sharing videos to remind people of who God says they are. So in the Bible, it says that we are the salt of the earth.
Yes.
But it also says, what good is salt if it's lost its saltiness?
Hmm.
It has no use other than to be thrown on the ground and to be trampled on by men. So, if you understand what that means, back in the day, salt was currency. They didn't have crypto. They didn't have the euro, the dollar bill, right? Salt is what they paid people in. So Jesus is saying that we are valuable. He's also saying that we have the ability to heal. There's something in what we say. There's something in what we can do other people that can heal their wounds.
Mm,
It's also saying that we have the ability to preserve the good that is still in the world. So when we understand that we're valuable, that we can heal, that we can preserve, that we matter, and you build from that place, everything you build is going to work.
mm,
But when you build from a place of not knowing who you are, a place of not good enough, when it comes time to shoot the video, it's not going to work because you're always going to have that in your mind. I'm not good enough.
mm,
Comparing yourself to other people, showing up timid. All right. So when you build, the first stage is building from a place of knowing. We are created in the image of God.
amen. Yep.
We are a light in this world. We were never meant to hide. We're meant to stand out and share what's put inside of us.
Yeah. And that's well, you shared a little bit about um, pain and your early pain and just getting caught in a dark moment and how that kind of revealed your purpose. Is there any other times during your season of pain that God really used you to maybe redirect your path, or was that the biggest one that you had in your life?
Man, my life has been filled with pain. Man,
You
it
know,
has been filled with pain all the way from a child all the way up until you know, man, it's been filled with pain. Um, so specifically, there were different like pivotal moments for me. I can tell you that. I can take you back early, and then I can also bring you up to speed on like some of the recent things that I experienced. Like early, my parents divorced when I was a kid, like I don't know, maybe 7 or 8, and I went from a two-parent household to a one-parent household, and nobody explained that to me. It was just like abruptly, all right, we're divorcing. I'm living with my dad. My mom goes somewhere else. And prior to that, in school, I was smart, intelligent, was speaking in front of people, like all of that stuff. I was a leader. But after that, it changed me. And I went inward. I secluded. I didn't talk. I sat in the back of the classroom. And then very shortly after that, my dad lost his job and we had to dumpster dive in order to survive. So he would drive me around the city. I would jump in trash cans, look for things that we could sell to make money. And that gave me such a feeling of shame because I felt everybody at school was outside of the trash can watching me dig through it and they were laughing
Sure.
at me, making fun of me, etc. And the thing about shame is if you don't deal with it, then it's going to follow you everywhere you go.
Wow. Wow.
So even when I wasn't in the trash can, I still felt that shame everywhere that I went, and that traveled with me into adulthood. Not feeling good enough to have a normal life traveled with me into adulthood. So one of the things that I experienced was when I got the gym started and I'm making all of this money, I didn't feel like I deserved it
Wow.
because all I knew was struggle, all I knew was pain, all I knew was
Mm.
suffering.
Wow.
So what I would do was I would give it away. I would overpay employees. I would spend it. I would blow it. I would do everything to put me back in a place that confirmed who I believe I was. Not good enough. Don't
Yeah.
deserve this.
Yeah.
Broken. So that's why I say we have to be cautious about who we believe we are. Identity is everything
Yeah.
because life is always going to confirm to us who we are.
You've helped entrepreneurs collectively generate, I was reading your bio, over $30 million.
Yeah.
What is one identity shift that they had to make before your strategy or the strategy worked? What was the biggest thing? Was it the belief in themselves again?
Yep. That's it. So it's understanding that they are a creator. All right. It's understanding that they are put here in the world to create things, that they have something that is invaluable. We just have to figure out what that something is.
Yeah.
And once I help them flip that switch of understanding who they are, like we are limitless. One of my books that I wrote is called Limitless. Like limitless literally means no limits, only the ones that we accept. So I help them have that shift to where they get in the mode to where they just feel like they can do anything. Like I am a master at helping people believe in ways once they in areas they once doubted.
Well,
So that's the
you've lived it, Will. You've lived it.
yeah.
Yeah, you have this story. You've lived it. I mean, my goodness. I mean, just from the short time that you shared with us. Um, so you said there's a few things I want to ask you here. What so you obviously work with Christians and things of that nature. I'm a reborn again Christian. I was in faith. My mom, I'm sure you had some faith coming up as well. I'm sure your parents brought you through the church because that's probably where you were. I'm
Yeah.
curious, was it mom you were with dad the majority of the time?
Yeah, I was up into eighth grade, and then I moved with my mom in high school.
And you guys went to church on Sundays or
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And then
Sunday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Yeah.
that's amazing. Well, I mean, blessings, because that's as obviously it's shown in your in who you are. And so I want to ask you this: what do you see holding most believers back from building a faith-driven, I don't know, movement God's been calling them to do? What do you think it is? Like, I want to hear it. We want to hear it from you.
Yeah, there are a few things. So it all boils down to the fundamentals of identity. They don't know who they are. Purpose, they don't know why they're here. And their giftedness, understanding what the thing is that they do better than anything else. All right. So there are a lot of like those are the fundamentals, but it's just so much like so many believers struggle with the understanding that you need money to live. All right. Like I get comments all the time. It's not about money. It's not about this. I'm like, we'll go to the grocery store and try to go get some dinner without money and see how that works for you. All right. It's not gonna work. So when my daughter went to college, she didn't have to worry about having a job when she was in school. She worked for me. She didn't have to worry about how school was going to get paid. I paid for it. So there are things that you need to do in life to live, and that requires money. So that's one of the biggest things is making peace with the fact that it is okay to generate wealth.
Yeah.
As long as you do it in a way that's in integrity. So the going back to the fundamentals, like so many people understand the scripture and the word, but they don't understand how to apply it.
Mm.
So, in other words, God has given them the vision, but they allow fear and doubt and uncertainty to make them not pursue the vision. And then they say, well, I'm just waiting on God and he'll make a way. No, he's not going to make a way.
Yeah. Well, you just said though, like fear, doubt, anxiety, those are it's the devil. That's the lie. Those are lies.
Yeah, it is.
Uh
So,
yeah, go ahead.
like in the scripture it says, um, have I told you not to be afraid? Be courageous. I'm
Yes.
with you. So
Yes.
we say these things, but we don't live these things.
Mm.
And what I do is I share a message where people can take that scripture and make it practical. How do I overcome the fear? I hear the word, but I'm still afraid. How do I overcome it? Well, I have a process that I can walk you through that can help you do that. All right.
I don't know you growing up, and I had a financial coach on my podcast. Shout out to Paris Clough, that was on my podcast. But I mentioned to him, I grew up. My mom would always say, and I grew up similar to your household. We were on welfare, food stamps, had the hoopty for the car. Dad had the eighth grade education. Mom had, I think she dropped out of high school, so we were just getting through, welfare, food stamps, free cheese. And I have a little bit similar story to yours as well. As I was an athlete. I didn't get as far as you got, but I played college ball, basketball, not football,
Okay.
Division 3. But my mom would always say to me, "Money doesn't grow on trees."
Yep.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
but what a stigma to enter into our psyche and our mindset, because then that just kind of reciprocates thoughts and then patterns
Yep.
and reciprocation, and then you're working for somebody else. How do you kind of eliminate that stigma? And I don't know if you had that growing up, because I know I did.
Yeah.
Like, how do you eliminate that?
Yeah. Great question. I definitely had it growing up. I never saw a representation of abundance
Yeah.
that was not drug dealers. I never saw it.
Wow.
The only people that I saw with money are people that were selling drugs and robbing people and things like that. So um I had to get outside of my environment to see different things. And what I did was I made sure that my kids would never hear money doesn't grow on trees.
Yes. Yes.
So I teach them a better way, but not only that, I set the example of a better way. So I take them to my speaking gigs and even bring them up to speak so they can feel what it's like to speak in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They see me doing business deals. Me and my son go to the title company and buy a real estate property. Like these are things that I include them in so their worldview of money is not tainted by lack. Because here's the truth.
Yeah.
Um, lack and abundance, they both exist at the very same time. All right. Like nothing in the world is one sided. We have never seen a one sided quarter. We've never seen a one sided dollar bill. We've never seen a one sided piece of bread.
Wow.
Everything has two sides.
I
So the
love that.
side that we see, the side that we feel, the side that we experience is the one that we choose to focus on.
Oh,
So if you focus on not enough, that is what you're going to experience. If you focus on more than enough, that is what you'll experience. They both exist for everybody at the exact same time.
that's
So, yeah, go
really
ahead.
well. No, I was just gonna say, I think that might be the title of the podcast. You just gave it to me. Everything has two sides. The title of the episode today. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Um, wow, you're speaking a lot of good stuff. I literally I don't scroll much, Will, but if I do, and I love your stuff. You're like, I
thank you.
just gotta tell our listeners, you gotta. Will, shout out your TikTok. I think that's your big account. I know you're also on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
But can you just shout those out for everybody right now?
Yeah, on TikTok, you can find me at Will Clue. Uh, Instagram is the Transformation Architect. And then YouTube, you can find me at the Limitless Entrepreneur.
So, Will, I want you to share because everybody loves testimonies. Tell me a client story of transformation that just absolutely blew you away. I mean, your story. I mean, we could probably do 3 or 4 episodes just on your story, and I might have to pick up one of your books. What's the other? You said Limitless, and what's the other name of the other book?
The Rapid Body Makeover.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, where so going back, so everybody wants to hear the client story, the transformation. What was one that really blew you away where faith met strategy and the results were undeniable?
Yeah, one of my clients. Uh, so there was a woman that I worked with, and I have so many, but I like this one a lot. There was a woman that I worked with, and she came to me about 2 years ago, and she was like, Will, I want to help teachers transition out of the classroom into remote jobs in tech. And the reason why that was important to her because she was a teacher for 20 years and she had a similar experience to me. So she has a couple small kids. She wasn't at home. She wasn't making a lot of money. It was just a miserable experience for her. So I asked her, why is that important to you? And she told me that. And she was like, I felt like a slave in the classroom. In fact, I called it a plantation. I was
Wow.
like, really? Tell me more.
Yeah.
So she began to tell me her story. And what happened was I saw it clear as day. I'm like, all right, this is the message that we're going to take to the world. All right. And when I told her, she was like, no, I can't say that, Will. People are going to come for me. They're going to criticize me. I said, you're right. They are going to criticize you, but it's okay. We only want to focus on the people that we've been called to serve.
Ah, wow.
So she took the message to the market, and this woman has no business background whatsoever. But when she shared the message that I helped her create, it generated so many leads.
Oh,
She took her first sales call. She made $16,000 on the first call. She ended up making enough money to buy a home for her and her kids. And after she did that, she sent me a picture of the house that she bought. There was a pool in the back. And she said, Will, I didn't tell you this while we were working together, but I was living in a motel with my kids. And she said, one night in the parking lot, there was a fight and they started shooting. And a bullet went through the door of the motel and into the pillow where her son was sleeping.
oh my
And
goodness.
she was like, thank God that it didn't hit my son, but I just want to thank you because what you did for me changed my life. And that is one that is real near and dear to my heart because the before and after is absolutely incredible.
Man, that's like teary eyed, goosebumps, hair on my arms up, man. That's a beautiful thing. And I knew right away the gift that you have. You've got a beautiful gift, Will, and it's very obvious. God speaks through you to help other people, and I'm just blessed. thank you for being on this podcast and sharing those inspirational stories.
I
So
appreciate it.
you're welcome, Will. So obedience, Will, isn't always glamorous, right?
Yeah.
We always are taught to turn the other cheek. And, I've gone through seasons, excuse me, where your character is maybe being imploded. And, I was just reading scripture the other day, and it talks about how if you are living your purpose correctly and you're living in alignment of what you're supposed to do. You have a character, and people are gonna attack that because
Yes.
that's what they do. And it kept going. The devotional in the Bible reading kept going on to talk about how that you should understand that that's a blessing and not a curse, that people have to do that because your character is going to outshine all of that. I
Yeah.
say all that because obedience isn't always glamorous. You left a steady career. You faced uncertainty. There were probably seasons where you questioned if you made the right move, right?
Yeah.
How did, and I also want to know some of your Bible passages. I had this on one of my notes earlier, that kind of really kind of got you through. But how did obedience test your faith? I'm writing about mine. I haven't really shared everything yet to all of my listeners and my subscribers because I want them to get it in my book. But how did obedience test your faith, and what did you learn about God's timing in the process? Because we all want, right? I want the time. This is my time, but it's always like, no, that's not your time. It's God's time. So talk. I know that was a loaded question. I hope you got me, but I know you do. Go, go.
Yeah. I got you. A couple questions there, so I'll answer them, starting with the obedience piece. Man, this is a good question. So here is what I learned, Michael. There are good ideas, and then there are God ideas.
Yes, yes.
So I had this contract with this business, and they were paying me more money than I ever made before. All right, like it was amazing. Everything was laid out, like the dream role for me. So I'm making money, I'm chilling, everything is good. And then God gave me a vision, and he said, Will, this is the message that I want you to share now. This is how I want you to show up now. And I said, God, no way, Jose. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to do that, bro. You got too many people already doing that. You don't need me. I'm doing what I'm doing. It's working. I'm not doing it. And I fought God with what he showed me. But the thing is, when
You
you are,
talked about you talked about this on one of your TikToks. So you had a fight with God. Yeah, go on, go on, go
yeah,
on, go on.
yeah. So when God revealed that to me, I fought him. I'm like, no, bro, I'm not doing that. But here's the thing, like he slowly began to strip away the things that I love, the things that I had grown to identify with, to get my attention, to force me to do it.
Wow.
Like some people don't have a choice other than to fulfill what God has called them to do. Some people can get away with it, but others you can't get away from it, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I am one of those people that just couldn't get away from it. So I finally said yes to what God called me to do, and I began to share the messages that I share now. Like I've always thought this stuff, I've always believed what I share. I just didn't share it publicly. I would talk behind the scenes with people and things like that. But when I started to share this message publicly, like it changed my life.
Wow.
Not only did it change my life, but my videos reach millions of people every single month.
Yeah, you're viral. There's no doubt on TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah. And just the impact that I've had in such a short amount of time has been mind-blowing. But the most beautiful part about it now is like I just have this peace about what I'm doing.
Mm,
Like money comes easier, opportunities come easier, and I'm doing what God has called me to do. And I didn't have that peace when I wasn't doing his will for me.
wow.
So when God has given you a vision or has called you to do something, being obedient to that thing is life changing.
Mm, mm.
So everything that we chase and everything that we want in other directions come easier when we align with what he wants us to do.
It does. It does.
And then the second thing that you asked me was about God's timing. And here's what I believe about that, which is going to be a bit different than what most people believe. So I believe that God, once he says something, it's done immediately. All right. So if he says, Michael, you're going to be a millionaire. Here's what I want you to share this message. This is the impact that I want you to make. His work is done at that point. So the timing point isn't about God having a specific date or time to bless us with the thing. It's more about us becoming the person capable of doing it.
Yes.
Which means there is an identity that I must assume that I don't have now. Which means that there are some skills that I must learn that I don't have now, which means there's a message that I must have conviction behind that I don't have now.
Wow.
And when I get to that place of becoming the person that can do it, that is the point where God's timing has now been fulfilled.
Yeah.
That's when you experience the promise.
Gosh. I have so many thoughts, and I think that's one of like the hardest lessons, Will, is like we want the fruit before we've planted the roots, right? And yet
Yeah.
God's not in the rush business. And but it's like it's almost like, how can I say it? He's in the refining business. He wants to refine us. One of the biggest things that I strive for every single day, and is I before I when I go to bed at night, I always say good night, Jesus. And then when I wake up in the morning, I always say good morning, Jesus. And I say, I want allow me to walk in your footsteps every single day. Because I want to be like him, even though I fall miserably every single day.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah. I mean, it's just we're in a sinful society. So I want to go here for a second. You
Okay.
often say the breakthrough you have been praying for is waiting on you to become the person who can handle it. And then you just said it, and that's really deep.
Yeah.
Talk to everybody about what that truly means. And then how does someone become the version of themselves who can handle the blessing they've been asking for? Because that's you mentioned a lot of it, and it's like you're right. But go. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. I hear it.
So the breakthrough is waiting on you to become the person that can handle it. So what that means is this. We have to understand who we're being in the moment. All right. So in other words, if somebody is praying for a financial breakthrough and they're like, God, I got all these bills piling up, the economy's bad, food is high, I need money, God, I need money. Please, God, bless me, bless me, bless me. That's what most people do.
Yeah.
But here is what I truly believe. Like, I am convicted by this 100%. Is that we're praying the wrong prayer when you go about it that way. So, in other words, what does an apple tree have to be in order to produce apples? Has to be an apple tree. All right, it can't produce oranges, it can't produce banana. Has to be an apple tree to produce apples. All right. So God in all of his glory put something inside of that seed that allows that tree to produce that specific fruit. All of us are created the same exact way.
Mm.
So inside of the seed, inside of us, he put something in us that produces fruit. And that fruit is directly tied to your financial blessing. So don't pray and ask God for a financial blessing. Pray and ask God to reveal to you what he's putting you that will the resources. So you have a responsibility to part. Does this make sense?
It does. It does. You froze up. You might take two. Say that again. You froze up a little bit. Take two. Let's do that again.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Go.
So we have to participate in the thing that we're praying for. The financial blessing, the financial breakthrough will come when you understand what your gift is, what your fruit is. And then you have to give your fruit away. Everything in life has a process of circulation. We have to breathe in air, but we can't hold on to it. If I try to hold my breath forever, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
You have to release it. So we receive and then we give. We receive and we give.
Gratitude. Yeah. Yeah.
So financial blessings and financial breakthroughs or any breakthroughs, you have to give something away. So the question is, who am I being in this moment? Is it a person that has no financial discipline? Am I going and blowing all the money that I have? Am I not stewarding it the right way? Right? You have to be aware of who you are being in this moment. And when you understand the characteristics and the tendencies that you have that are not in alignment with who you want to be, then you know the work you have to do.
Yes, yes. I often tell my clients, I always say they always have a calendar full of agendas and checklists. What I always tell them is, do your values match your calendar?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's what you should be concerned about. It's not a checklist. I want to ask you this because you work with Christian entrepreneurs. What's one thing you pray every Christian entrepreneur should learn sooner?
I pray that every Christian entrepreneur and even people that are not Christian, um, you learn who it is you truly are. Because when you have an understanding of that, everything else in life is easy. So if you truly knew who you were, that problem in your life today that you feel is insurmountable, that you feel that is bigger than you, if you knew who you are, you would trample over it.
Hmm. Wow.
If you knew who you truly were, you wouldn't struggle to make the video. You would share the message that you feel called to share. If you truly knew who you were,
Hmm.
your life would be a reflection of what God has promised you. He said that I came that you may have life and have it more abundantly. That means more than enough peace, joy, love, connection, whatever it is, abundant. But that will never happen if you do not know who you are.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in Genesis, when God says, um, when he talks about the creation of man, he gave us an identity before anything. Let us make man in our own image.
Hmm.
That's the first thing he said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we know that, everything in life else will take care of itself. If we don't know that, everything is going to be a struggle when it doesn't have to be.
You talked a lot about, well, in the beginning or just recently, about the financial piece. And, it also talks in the Bible about, does God take care of a sparrow?
Yeah.
Well, the sparrow has food and lives abundantly all the time. It's not chasing after food. I think, let me ask you, you pray, you ask, and then it's gratitude. He
Yeah.
hears you the first time,
Yeah.
right? And then it's just giving thanks and being in the moment. And, um, let me ask you, faith maturity. What does that look like in business?
Yeah.
And what kind of separates someone who is maybe chasing God's calling from someone chasing the world's applause? Because we can often, I even mentioned this to you, like, you're viral on TikTok, you've got millions of views, and like, how do we separate that? How do we separate someone who's chasing God's calling from secular world applause?
Yeah. I think it's just all about the intention, right? So the work that you do, and this is what I suggest for all of my clients, and this is why I've been able to help people produce $30 million inside of their businesses collectively, is that our business is here to honor God in everything that we do. All right. So, in other words, like when I'm creating videos and my videos are going viral, I don't do it and say, hey, look at me, look at how
Yeah,
great I am.
yeah, yeah.
Right. I rarely ever talk about my accomplishments ever. I mean, It's rare that I do it.
I didn't even. I honestly didn't know until I got your bio.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
So like it's so funny, dude. When I go and speak at conferences and things, like
Yeah.
I never, oh yeah, my name is Will and I've done that. I never do that. I go straight into talking to the person because it's not about me, right?
Yeah.
So when I do these things, I'm like, God, I want you to speak through me so that the person that hears this message can see you and feel you in a way they never have before. That's my intention behind it.
Should be our yes. That should all
The-
be our all of our messages. I was reading something. I came across something, but it was like be the walking Bible that no one reads. Right?
you go.
Yeah. Like
I'd rather
be
see a sermon than hear one any day.
yes, yes. Hey, let's do some fun stuff here before we wrap up. So, truth, fire, and fun, I call it. It's kind of a lightning round. I just want to have some fun with you because
All
I
right.
appreciate everything that you've talked. So, before we wrap up, I always end up. We always end framing new heights with a lightning round, which is just called truth and fire. So, I want to go over this true and false. All right. Hold on, let me get to them. You can build $1 million business and still serve God faithfully.
True. 100%.
True or false? The biggest battle isn't building your business, it's battling your own mindset.
True. 100%.
TikTok is the new pulpit for kingdom entrepreneurs.
Oh, true. 100%.
um, Faith driven people still struggle with fear, yet they move anyway.
I would say, what's my options? True, false, or
True or
whatever.
false? True or false? Yeah, true or false. So I'll say it again. So faith driven people still struggle with fear, yet they move anyway.
It's true. They still struggle with fear, and it's true that some still move, and it's also false that all move. Right.
True or false? You once left a stable. Well, we already know this. You once left a stable teaching job without a plan, just a promise from God because you heard Him talk to you.
Amen. That's the truth.
um. All right. You might get a kick out of this. You may not. Michael Hicks can outcoach Tony Robbins in a gratitude challenge.
100% true.
Yeah, see, exactly.
I'm putting
It's
my
one
money
of
on you every time.
um, true or false? Gratitude is the fastest way to shift your state.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, I always say you can't be bitter and grateful at the same time. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Um, True and false? The next generation of Christian leaders will build movements, not just ministries.
Yes, that is true. Yep.
Hey, so how can our listeners will? It's been an honor, honestly, tonight. Where can our listeners get a hold of your books?
You can go on Amazon, and if you type in Limitless and my name, Will Clewis, my book will pop up there. And I'll walk you through the steps on how to set and achieve any goal you want without the fear of failure. In my mind, failure is not real, it doesn't exist.
I agree.
So I just walk through the steps on how I did it in my life and then how other people can replicate that same framework.
Hey, fun question. Where did you play college ball at?
I played at the University of Central Oklahoma. It's in Edmond, Oklahoma. It's a Division II.
Let me guess. Cornerback.
Nope.
Do I get a
Middle-
second? I mean, I all I see is your face on all the TikToks.
yeah.
Let me see. Second guess. Running back.
Nope. Middle linebacker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How tall? How tall are you?
6 foot.
Okay. What were you?
Yeah.
What was your weight? Your weight in when you were playing?
My playing weight was 240.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Between 230, 240.
I got a fun story to tell you really quick. So I didn't have a dad growing up. I'll be
Okay.
writing about this. And I had a stepdad. Anyway, he really wasn't a father figure, but I had when I was in middle school, I had a teacher that played football against Walter Payton.
Oh wow.
He was pretty jacked dude, 6'6". He always wore these cowboy boots and these pads that were like high waters, and we would say, but you would never intimidate this. You can. This dude was intimidating. But I remember he played football against Walter Payton, and he was like a father to me in so many aspects. And I'm lucky that I had role models, and I'm sure you had some strong role models. Any good role models that you want to give a shout out to right now, before we kind of close today, that you'd like to share?
Yeah, shout out to Coach Joe Bowden. He was a huge role model for me
Wow.
um, in college. And then also shout out to my wife's father, Gary Williams. He is really the person that really taught me how to be a man and take care of my family. So I definitely want to salute him for that. Love you, Pops.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Will, it's been an absolute honor bringing your wisdom, your heart, and your fire today. And to everyone listening, remember your identity comes before your strategy, and you can chase success and still miss peace. However, when you align it with God, you stop chasing and you start becoming. Will, any final words to our listeners out there that stumbled on this podcast? How can they get a hold of you? Any more details that you want to provide? Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys can get a hold to me on Instagram, The Transformation Architect. You can hit me up there. If you're looking to, if you feel called to share a message with the world and you want to learn how to turn that message into a movement that changes people's lives and also makes you income, hit me up on there and I can walk you through the process on how I can help you do that.
Well, like I said, man, it's been an honor. I appreciate you, and I'll
Thank you
connect
so
with you.
much.
I'll email you. Let's exchange digits and stuff so we can stay in touch for future things, because I've got some things brewing that I think you might be a good fit for, and I'd like to kind of pick your brain on some things as well.
Okay, sounds good, man. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it.
You're welcome. And as always, 1% better in mind, body, and soul. And always get them up. Stay flex. Get them up, Will.
Mm,
Yes.
there we go. All right, man. Take care.
Take care.
All right.